We got a good crowd, Darby. Oh, we already got a hand raised. I don't know who that's from. Oh, from Brenda Mudrack that's got her hand raised for some reason.
I know that name because I think I spelled it wrong when I sent her something.
I pronounced it wrong the first episode, so we all know Brenda Mudrack. About that. So Susan says hi, Ginger and Darby from Fort Worth, Texas. Carla Craybaum says hello. Peggy and Nicole, hey, Ginger and Darby, like your haircut, Darby.
Oh, she noticed. Thank you. Now, hold on. We got to go back to Peggy and Nicole because I have to thank them so much. They really kind of started this drive with the plaque from my dad and Kanab and all that. And it's really turned into an event I'm really looking forward to with the whole big family reunion and everything. And, you know, because Dad didn't really get any of that recognition. So I just, big hugs to you both and your whole family. You know.
Well, on that note, Darby.
Yes.
I have already rented a house there too. I know Ed Crowley's supposed to be there. Rick Wells is supposed to be there. Peggy and Nicole have also rented a house. So we're going to try to put together a nice little festive 4 days that are with the Darlings will be doing their thing and try to do some events together that aren't, if when the festival's not doing stuff, we'll be doing Darby, AKA Daniel Boone related stuff, which you are welcome to participate in or not, but I assume you'll be signing autographs.
Hold on. I know you didn't watch the show, you know, back. I got the fans and everything, but you have watched a couple episodes now. So just to be clear, I didn't play Daniel Boone. Okay, I played Israel Boone.
I meant Daniel Boone related because the fort is there, and you and even Hannibal may be going. Not my.
Wait a minute, I found something. Oh, I wanted to share, and I didn't get it. Excuse me, I'm diving out of screen here for a minute because I'm still. Oh, because you can hear boxes going over, but I just found this. Actually,
so what I wanted to say is if anybody is thinking about going to the Western Legends Roundup, there will be a lot of us there to, of course, root for Darby and all his dad at the Thursday night barbecue when he gets the award. But also there's, I think, a great parade on Saturday, which you'll probably be in that, right, Darby?
I'll be in the parade.
So we can cheer for you.
I think they're gonna actually, I don't think it's gonna be at the barbecue that I get the award. I could be wrong. I'll talk to Bonnie. But we're going to show Dad's movie that he filmed there first. And I think that's
okay.
Going to take the place. So anyway, here, I wanted to, is this the one? Yeah, here. Okay. Oh, shoot.
See, you need your green screen.
Hold on. Oh, now I lost it.
You are, boo, where's your green screen?
People tune in just to see how well we do this, don't they? Okay. We? Okay, hold on. Go to none. None. Okay. Now.
Hold it up a little higher. Oh, your Patsy Award.
Actually, look at the bottom. This is Hannibal's. See? Hannibal.
I see excellent. I don't see Hannibal. What are you talking about?
Right with my finger. Hannibal.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
The Daniel Boone series with Hannibal Goose.
Well, I'll be sure to pass that on to his great-grandson. I'm sure he'll be very proud to know that.
Because I have held on to this for so long. Because I just didn't stay in touch with Hannibal. I got to admit, he's one of the guys from the show that I didn't get to hang with afterwards. And I still have his award that I accepted for his, did we decide great-great-grandfather? How many generations back?
He was the fourth generation, so great.
Okay. So yes, I have that. And then I did get one on my own, a humane award that they did give to me. So
that's because they didn't see that video I put together where you're manhandling him, but
I treated Hannibal very nicely. He did not get the goose from me.
That was Albert Salmi. Albert Salmi, if he goes around still, he would have probably filed a harassment suit. For being goosed. He literally was goosed.
We didn't miss, the worst treatment I saw, and I got to relive this with Ted White, who was our stunt guy all those years, and Fess's double and everybody, and he was great. And we had a lunch before all the shutdown. And we went over his story where he had a stunt guy. We might have to find this episode in a bear suit. And the bear was supposed to attack a guy on a horse, right? So the bear was like up in the tree and everything. And they got it all and they started to shoot it. And the bear lunges out and goes for the guy. That's, just stunt man. It's a hot day anyway. And you're in a bear suit. And the horse took objection to that. And the horse knocked the stunt guy down and started stomping on him to get rid of the bear. And everybody was like, wait, what? Oh, so see that the animal wasn't hurt, but the human inside the bear suit was pretty bruised.
Well, then he's probably the guy in the bear suit when he comes running up to the house too. In that clip I can show one day of, it's obviously a person going, "Arr." All right, I apologize for my dinging here. They're sending me pictures from my movie set, which transitions me into, I wanted to thank everybody that had sent me donations for my short film. We finished the second day yesterday and we got all the shots we wanted to get. I don't think I can close Facebook.
And it's not too late to donate to your short, right?
That is true. Now we go into post-production and then we'll start submitting it to festivals. But if you are a donor, the great part is I'm plan to have it all edited and ready to go in about a month. And then I'm going to do like an online special sneak preview with some of my cast Q&A and a special screening of it. Maybe you should. I think I'm like $5 short of getting up to, and I had got matching funds, which was great. If I could have gotten it up to 2,500, I had matching funds for another 2,500. So still working on that. But the folks that did donate, and I can't remember who said they wanted to remain anonymous and who was okay with me saying their name. So I don't want to mention somebody's name. I probably shouldn't. But if you did donate, I want you to know I deeply, deeply, really, really appreciate your generosity and your support. It was very touching. It was my directing debut, and I've produced a lot of movies and a lot of things, but I'll tell you, directing, if anybody tells you it's an easy gig, they're a liar. It's a hard gig to be the captain in charge and make sure that you get everything, and then to be the editor and the director, so you kind of know what you want, but then finding time for even just the little quick single shots. It's like those are the differences in the details. You can get the major coverage, which is the wide shot and the close up. But when you start getting those inserts and you start getting just that are one and done kind of thing, everybody starts to get tired.
Time is what you always talk about. Absolutely on a set.
Yeah. Well, they say every direct says you want more money and you want more time. I have to say, well, I would like more money so I can distribute it, but time. We finished right on time. Well, I say right on time. We finished about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but which wasn't bad because I thought we were going to be done at 1.
Look forward to seeing it, that's for sure.
I had to buy everybody ice cream because I had used the ice cream shop's patio for their restaurant. So, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to get those locations.
Somewhere, I don't think that's under the SAG contract, and lunch will be ice cream.
No, they got lunch and ice cream.
Oh, well, there you go.
Hey!
That's good. Well, listen, we should probably talk about tonight's episode. It's funny. I was looking up for this episode because I know in my research for doing the book that I came across it, but Daniel Boone was actually in one of the states. They tried to ban it because historically it was so inaccurate. They didn't think it was good to have on TV. But of course, tonight is because of Prince Philip passing, and since my wife is English, that's a very big thing. She said it was like a grandfather passing because he was just always there. And I got to tell you, I've listened to a lot of the documentaries on him and a lot of the BBC stuff and all. He's a pretty incredible guy. He was talking about global warming long before other people were, and some of the causes he reached out, and the whole getting kids involved and doing the whole outdoor. Anyway, that you don't research. But I thought it'd be fun to do this one where I knew there was a prince. Now, I haven't seen this episode since it aired. I probably watched it then. Um, but I just remember there was a prince swapping because I remember Morgan Mason because I had worked with him earlier in a movie, my first movie that I did. Thank you.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that one was your first.
Oh, yes. Cool. Yes, that was my first. You know, I might have started in the business at 6 months old, but I took a while. I wasn't, you know, I waited till I was 3 to do a movie. But yeah, that's Heroes Island. Have you seen the poster for that? It's fun. Here.
I know you had that picture of you guys under the net. Oh, okay. I have seen that picture.
That's unfortunately funny. Here, because the way they crop you can't see. That's his dad, the wonderful actor, James Mason, and Rip Torn. Somebody said, come on, somebody didn't really name their kid Rip Torn, but yes, they did.
Those are the two guys behind you because we don't see their heads.
I know. Yeah, that's dad and that's Rip. And of course, there's Morgan and that's me. And we have our swords because I think they were practicing a sword fight. So that was fun. But anyway, I want to thank, because a lot of people tried to reach out and because I didn't know how to get in touch with him. And through his son, who is in politics here in West Hollywood, got the email, reached out to him. He was very great. He got back to me. So we just exchanged other email. Now, of course, you know, we're a day and flip side difference. So this is like, you know, 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning for him, which is early for anybody. Yeah, I think I might have had to get up for your husband once at 6:30 in the morning, but that's different. But we did have a great talk, great email, and it's really great. And what I'm hoping to do with him would be to air Heroes Island. And we'll do it at a time when it's convenient with him, when he's actually up and awake. And then maybe we'll save it and air it for later. But it would be fun because I actually have a copy of this, but I haven't seen this either. I didn't watch it because I was waiting to, I don't know, do it with my sisters or somebody else instead of just sit there and watch it. Maybe I should do it with the darlings and dudes. So
you mean you're going to watch it by yourself, like not with our input?
See, that's the thing, you know.
Come on, what's wrong with all of us? We like watching movies with you, Darby. Come on now, we're your family. We're family.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Listen, I look forward to these sitting down Thursdays and watching some old nostalgia here. I really do. It's fun. Like you said, we have our regulars that are doing it. It's great.
We do, and we have quality regulars. Goodness gracious, everybody.
That's it. So anyway, so that's Heroes Island, but that's for future. We haven't locked that down, but I'm hoping that might happen. But I'm looking forward to watching this episode because these are one of the later episodes, so I remember doing some of this stuff.
You mean you might actually have some tales to tell?
I deny everything that happened with Hannibal. I was too young. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
You were in shock. We know. We let you off the hook on that one. Even after your second cocktail. No. If I was you, I'd want to forget the night too. Just kidding.
Okay.
Although I want to say, I shared the show with my whole family and they all loved it. My mom, my dad, my aunts, my uncles, everybody was talking about it and loved it. And loved you, Darby. So you got new fans.
Wait a minute. How many was that? 3 more? Was that? Okay.
Of course, they didn't enjoy it. And I think I did see that the woman who played the Indian, played Tekawitha, I think she ended up joining your group. A little late, but she probably wasn't sorry about that. But
Lynn, I am honored to have you as a darling. I only am sorry that I don't get to pin you. Because you got to be pinned to darling with the. But anyway.
On that note, we may be working on a new special pin for the collection. Stay tuned.
Yes. All right.
And my friends Stacey Schaefer and Darby. All right. So we ready to get started? If we bored everybody enough?
Here, should I get back to the right? I should see now here. We'll get very technical. I'll get back to the right background. So this is about these two guys. And why is it that he wears a tricorn kind of better than I do?
Because his has feathers on it and is fancier, and he's probably richer than you. Not you, but your character.
You giving me trouble because I'm a woodsman?
Yeah, but don't you get to wear his outfit somewhere in this whole thing?
Shh.
Oh.
Now you're going to give away the whole plot.
Really? If they're real fans, they've already seen the episode. It's not really
you
a spoiler.
Probably haven't seen this episode, right?
I saw it at high speed real quick to find the commercial break. I didn't want to ruin the surprise. It's always much better when the, when the questions seem more natural.
On with the show.
All right, so let me do my announcements. So this episode is called When a King is a Pawn. It's from season 3, episode 14. I do not have the air date written down. I failed in that department, but the director was Leslie Selander, and the teleplay.
Stevens, wasn't it?
Selander. What's that?
Leslie Stevens, wasn't it?
I had Leslie Selander, Selandr, but.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Leslie Stevens was the director of Heroes Island. And do I have a story about him? But that's another time. Sorry, when you with Leslie, go on.
I'm sorry, was I talking?
I haven't even started yet. Cheers,
This is your show, Darby. It's okay. And the teleplay was by David Duncan. So the first segment is actually 20 minutes long. It's a nice long segment. And we get back to the Daniel Boone theme that we like, where I believe he throws the axe versus killing a bear and an Indian. So we can feel good about the opening and singing along again.
People are beginning to disembark.
You're sure you recognize them?
A man, a woman, and a boy. Madame Simone, I can't miss. Indeed, there they are now.
Taken?
No, monsieur. Get in.
16 Rue du Champ.
Will we soon be safe, Charles?
Providing you tell no one, absolutely no one, who you are. Why have we stopped?
Look out.
Out! Driver! Driver!
You never give up, do you?
Never.
What happens to Charles now?
A return journey by another route. New Orleans has too many royalist sympathizers to remain here.
And what happens to me?
Eventually, you will face the Revolutionary Tribunal. But it'll be some time yet. In the meanwhile, you are the boy's mother and my sister. Unless you try to betray us. In that case, you'll have to share the fate of your recent companion.
Of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe. The rippenest, roaringest, fightingest man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. What a Boone, what a doer, what a dream come truer was he.
Get the other coach and saddle horse for yourself and Ormond. Our guide will take over the driving from here.
Are you sure you can trust that guide?
Oh, certainly. He's totally ignorant of the situation and will remain so. Hello.
Oh, Mr. Legault, you're back already.
Yes, my sister and her child were among the first off the boat. The coach is ready, so the two men will return it after we reach our destination. So I see no reason to delay starting at once. It's bright moonlight.
I'll be right with you. Wake up, Israel. Homeward bound.
Gosh, is it morning already?
Oh, it's almost midnight. You can sleep in the coach.
Who else is going?
Oh, just a nice French family going north to Vincennes to visit with relatives. Come on.
Ormond, your horse is here.
Well, Israel, it looks like you're going to have someone your own age to travel with.
Who's this boy, Monsieur Boone?
My son, Israel.
Your son? You didn't tell me you had a son.
Well, he was with me when we first met. Anything wrong with his being along?
Anything wrong? Oh, no, monsieur. I was merely surprised. Of course, Israel is most welcome. Put him in.
You can curl up on the seat there, son.
Hello.
My sister, Madame Simone, and her son, Charles.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Now, Monsieur Boone, let's be on our way.
Get up. Get up.
Pa says you're from France. What's it like there? What's wrong?
Son, your father said he wanted you to sleep. Please do so.
The bullet came within a fraction of an inch of his heart. I can't say whether he'll live or not.
But can you bring him to consciousness, even for a minute? He has information of the utmost importance.
It would be better to let him rest. To stimulate him might prove fatal.
If he lives long enough to tell me what happened, I don't care. And I can assure you, Doctor, he would agree with me. Every second is precious. Jamais, can you hear me?
Philippe.
No. Save your strength. Just tell me, what happened to Charles?
Let go. Hurry, let go.
Let go? Where has he taken Charles? Well, how did it happen? Tell me anything that will help me find them.
We were trapped in a closed carriage. By Legault and others.
Jamais, what else?
You'll kill him. That's enough.
I only hope it is enough.
Yes, there was a coach that left last night, about midnight. I know who the driver was.
Yes?
A man from Kentucky, Dan Boone. came down the river with a load of furs, and he was about to head back over the Natchez Trace when this fella hired him as a guide.
Was this other man's name Henri Legault?
Don't know his name.
Well, who else was in the carriage?
Don't know that either. I saw Boone and the man who hired him, and the boy, of course.
Boy? What's boy?
Boone's boy. Now, wait. I do remember talking to Boone earlier. He was waiting for a ship from France to dock, and there were some people on he was going to take back north. I guess that's who was in the coach. Although none of them ever got out. Sure were in a hurry to leave.
Yes, they would have been in a great hurry, and they have a long head start. Thank you.
May I ask how you knew it was I?
Very simple. Had been assigned by the Committee for National Security to guard the child. Therefore, he could not have escaped from prison without your assistance. What did the Royalists pay you?
Nothing.
I see. You were secretly of their party all along, a traitor to the cause of liberty.
That is not true. I detest them. It was only for him. He's completely innocent.
Make no mistakes. He was guilty the moment he was born. Guilty of being who he is.
Get a good night's sleep, Israel?
Yeah, nothing to do but sleep.
Did you get acquainted with any of your fellow travelers?
No, nothing. Only the boy's name is Charles, and his mother's name is Madame Seymour, something like that.
If they want some breakfast, it's time they woke up.
You're helping them take me back to prison, or to death.
No, but if I try to stop them, they'll get rid of me, and then you would be all alone.
Perhaps the guide would help us.
If the guide learns who you are, he will be killed. So say nothing. We can only hope for an act of providence now.
You better get out and have some breakfast and stretch your legs while you've got the chance. It's going to be a long day.
Yes, Charles. We can go out for a few minutes now.
Yeah.
Hey, look it! Hey, there's another one! Look out the window. Instead of just sitting there, you'd see lots of things like that.
Charles would not look out of the window.
Why can't the boys talk? What possible difference can it make now?
Monsieur Boone, hold up.
Whoa! 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 What's the matter? Ride too rough?
No, your boy says he wants to ride up there with you.
All right, come along, Israel. There we go. Cow! Get up.
That isn't true what he said, Pa.
You didn't want to ride up here with me?
Sure I do, Pa. It's a lot better than being inside. Only I didn't ask. He did.
You didn't, huh? Some kind of trouble?
I don't know what's going on, Pa. That kid's just scared all the time. Just plain scared.
A companion would give Charles a diversion. Something to occupy his mind. Why must you add cruelty to everything else?
Not cruelty, mercy. Despite what you think, I've never killed except for the security of the cause. If Boone's sons learn what Charles is, he will naturally tell his father, and our cause will be threatened. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes. I understand you. And I am weary of causes. Why can't you just leave us in this wilderness? Let us vanish.
Because it's the seed of evil. And seeds sprout even in the wilderness. Perhaps even better there.
Why are we stopping?
Well, good place to spend the night. Plenty of grass and water for the horses.
It's too early to stop. We'll keep going.
Legault, these horses have been pulling steadily since we left New Orleans. Even if you don't need a rest, they do.
They are good for a few more miles before sundown?
Maybe. What's the rush?
Nothing. I simply want to reach my destination as soon as possible.
Well, that's what we're doing. If we push that team much harder, we're going to all end up walking.
The horses don't have to go beyond the Tennessee River.
Well, that's a fair stretch yet. Something seems to be worrying you. What is it?
Isn't that a rather personal question, Monsieur Boone?
I agreed to take a group of colonists north to Vincennes. If it's something else I'm doing, I want to know about it right now.
That's all it is. Nothing to hide. I must apologize for my impatience.
Well, there's no need to apologize. If that's all that's bothering you, we'll make camp right here. Now I'll hitch the horses.
It's getting too dark to be certain, gentlemen. And with nothing to guide us, except the trace left by one wagon and a few horses, we'd better wait until morning.
I wonder how far ahead they are.
Less than when we started, and tomorrow, we'll be closer.
What do you want? I'm tired of sleeping. Let's go for a walk. Walk where? Just down the creek a ways. Just before morning's when lots of animals come down to drink. But I have no shoes on. Who cares? Come on. If we just lie here, we ought to see some deer, possum, raccoon, and maybe even a bear. What would become of us if we just kept going? What do you mean? I mean, would we starve to death? Would the Indians get us? I don't know. We ain't got a gun. And besides, Pa would track us down before we got very far. I see. You mean there's no way to escape? What do you want to escape from? I cannot tell. I bet you want to escape from your uncle. Citizen Legault is not my uncle. Madame Simon is not my mother. Oh? Then who are you, anyway? I cannot tell. I can tell no one. You mean you don't know who you are? Oh, yes, I know who I am. Then why can't you tell me? Because if I told you, and anyone learned I had told you, you would die. Well, then, I'll keep it a secret. You're not afraid to know? Not if you're not afraid to tell me. I would like to tell someone. Well, then, go ahead. You swear to tell no one? Sure, I promise. Not even your father? For if you do, he will die. No, I won't tell him, or anybody else. Who are you? I am Louis Charles Capet, Louis the 17th, King of France.
Well, what a cliffhanger. I am Louis the... Yes. And I do realize, like I said, this is in honor of Prince Philip. I do realize this is a French prince, not an English prince, but, you know, like I said, Daniel Boone was banned in a couple of states because our history was so bad.
What are you going to do? All you can do is try, right?
And we had a bear that we didn't shoot, right? Saw
Right.
the bear cubs, didn't shoot at it, didn't. And I had to call my sister in the middle of this and ask what the actor's name was, because he was a friend of my mom's. He was always around. Cesare Denola. He's the one playing the assassin.
You know you didn't have to call your sister because your fans are so smart that somebody already said it. So
Okay,
shout
good.
out to you, Stacy Schaefer. Is that Cesare Denova? Love him. So the next question, of course, is Peggy and Nicole always did like Cesare Denova. What was he like? So what do you remember about working with him?
Oh no, much more than working. I mean, he was always at the parties, and Cesare, very dashing gentleman. He was. I'm sure I have a ton of pictures I found. I just found this picture here. I just found last night in a brand new box that I opened up. But I'm sure I have other pictures of Cesare.
Well, that's interesting. It's dated November 66 because Pamela Riley Pavkovich gave me the date that this aired, which was December 22nd, 1966. So the turnaround must have been pretty fast as far as they shot it and aired it the next month, I guess, huh? Or do you think that date is when it got developed versus when it was shot?
It got developed, so I don't know how long it stayed in my mom's camera.
I don't know at the rate she took pictures. I'm sure she was snapping them and then developing them the next day.
Well, I know, but then she would have a bag of them that you would have to send off, right? And then wait like 10 days at least for them to come back. And then you open them up and like, oh, I remember if some of them came back like all overexposed or underexposed and the whole roll was no good. Oh, she hated that.
Was that her fault or was that the fault of the developers, but they still send them back?
Sometimes, it depends. But, back then, yeah. And that's why I have a great picture where I look like I want to stab her for taking so many pictures. But you had to get the aperture right. People don't think of it now. They just sit there and push the button. But you had to get the aperture, the ASA, the focus, all the fun different things.
Simpler times. Or not.
Right, or not.
So we had a question from one of our Facebook viewers. Terry Hull on Facebook said, did any of the episodes inspire you to read up a little on some of the historical incidents that they were based on?
Oh, absolutely. Like the Benjamin Franklin one that we aired, the printing press, the character that played Benjamin Franklin was a Benjamin Franklin expert for the country doing that character. So, just sitting down with him and learning all the phrases and all the different things that Benjamin invented, and pretty incredible man. And actually, I was just talking to somebody today about it, because we're talking about doing an Indian piece, and we wanted to make sure that the story was told from both sides and equally. And I did get to say, because the person I was talking about it with said, yeah, because we didn't really learn in history both sides of the story in the school system that we were brought up in my generation. But that is one thing I did get from not only the Indians or the consultants who come on the set, but I got to live on a Cherokee reservation in North Carolina. I got to do great ceremonies with the Navajo chiefs in Nevada. And so I've always been interested in the Indian culture and exactly what it is. One of the fascinating things I think about the Indians, we always talk about scalping, right? And that was the Indian thing that they did. No, all those tortures and stuff were basically the white man coming over the English. And the scalps were first because there was a price on every Indian you killed. And the proof was the scalp. So the Indians learned that from the white man. And anyway, yes, to answer that question, it did get me interested in history and learning all these things.
Would your teacher on the set encourage you to chat with those people, like the Benjamin Franklin guy, or would she ever do anything like that to try to make it more interactive, or would you just sort of take your own initiative?
Well, they didn't really have to do that because I would be on the set. You go on and you line up the shot, and they move the lights and the cameras around. Well, that's also where they have a stand-in come in, especially when they're trying to get my schooling in. We would first block the shot, and then they put the stand-in so they could light him, so I could run back and go to school and do all that, and get my mind on schoolwork. And then when they were ready to do the shot, they would call me in. But just between takes and at lunch and times like that is when it fascinated me.
So there really was a lot of hurry up and wait, huh?
That hasn't changed and probably never will. Right?
I found it was great on my set to be able to, while they were doing that, to be able to talk to the actors and be able to just rehearse the scene while they were busy doing that. So you didn't feel like you were wasting time. You could always utilize the time, which is good.
Well, and that's a good director. And that's the thing. You have to be able to do that. And you have to have the good people, the lighting people, the camera people that know what the setup is without the director telling them. But absolutely.
I don't know. Susan Harlan.
Look there, doesn't he? With
what's that?
I'm looking at Morgan there. He's really giving a stare down, isn't he? There.
Do you remember what you're looking at? You're looking off into space.
I'm trying to look angelic or something. I mean, this is the guy that goes on Israel. But this is the one that directs Sex, Lies, and Videotapes.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Oh, yes, he really did. She was very controversial at the time, but I thought a great little piece. I know, I'm very impressed with what Morgan went on and did. And living in Thailand, how great is that? I was there in the 80s, 70s, I don't know. After I was swimming in the Philippines, I went through Thailand and had a great time. And Ryder just went through there. It's a lot different when I go through these countries than when I know my son is going through these countries. Oh, Dad, I'm going to Vietnam. I'm just going to rent a motorcycle and bike around for a couple of weeks. Good. Yeah, fine. Good. Go.
Tell me when you're home safe, right?
But, you got to let them do it. And anyway, Thailand's beautiful. And, especially, when you get, any of these places, I think, once you get out of the big cities and you start seeing some of the country around it, it's just gorgeous. So I do look forward. I hope we get to do the Heroes Hour because I do look forward to talking to Morgan.
So do you have any recollection of that scene where you guys are both in your socks? Because it's funny, he's complaining, I don't have any shoes on, and you didn't say, neither do I. Come on. You just, oh, well.
Okay, let's go.
But do you remember that? Because your socks were filthy by the time you got down to the.
You know, frontier kid's not going to worry about dirty socks. Okay, I mean,
that's true. You're boys. Boys don't care about those things.
No, I know I had one thing with Becky Boone about making the bed. You know, why should I make the bed? I'm just going to wreck it, in a few hours and get back in it. Those life lessons we learned on the set.
That's good. So I don't know what Susan Harlan's comment means. She just put big blue eyes just got bigger. Is that the name of a movie? Is that I don't know, Susan, you're gonna have to explain your comment. I don't know that one.
It's my blue eyes. I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's you. And your sister said this is such a good episode. How do you say his name? Something DeNova.
Cesare DeNova.
Cesare. Ugh.
I will have to dig up
crazy.
Cesare. Oh, yeah.
Is it Cesare or Cesare?
Cesare.
Okay, Cesare. Never gonna remember that. All right, John Barnhill wants to know, were those forest camping scenes outdoors or on a soundstage?
Soundstage.
You like the easy ones, I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Susan Harlan said my statement refers to the end of the scene. So she must have been talking about Israel in that nice close-up. So.
All right. All right.
Wait, we got one more comment. And Stacy Schaefer says, whatever his name is, DeNova, whose Italian accent isn't very French, but we love him anyway, died of a heart attack at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences while attending a committee meeting. Oh my goodness. Bom, bom, bom. The plot
didn't
thickens.
know that. But boy, so many of them. I mean, we just lost the one that he was so fun and nice to be with, the guy from F Troop. Me and names, it goes right out. But the great one that caught the arrow in the bugle, he just passed. And then Paul Peterson, I love Paul Peterson. He deserves the name, the patron saint of child actors. The other reason I like to talk to Morgan, child actors, I got to thank him. But from Rin Tin Tin, they just found him and he had died and it was an unclaimed body. And, Paul has stepped in and tried to at least get him a proper burial and stuff. But
somebody from your list, though, posted a link to a military site or something that they could get him a decent burial for free, or at least the honors or whatever. So I hope he reads that. Somebody had cross-posted it to yours, so I'm sure it's good that he's announcing it. So hopefully,
I'll check on that, and I'll call Paul. I talked to him much longer, but I'll call Paul and check on that. See, yeah, but you gotta love Paul Peterson. He just has such a heart. And
he works very, very hard for you child actors. I hope somebody's working just as hard for him. That's good.
Well, and he gets things done. I mean, he goes right, he's been in front of Congress. He's been all over. They made him a part of the UN because his child labor laws were so important that he was even part of the UN. So what can I say? You know what? We got to do another thing with Paul.
I think we should.
Yeah, we tried not to talk about child actors and get into a lot of the negative stuff about it and stuff, but we should do another thing with Paul, and we'll get into it.
Okay, put in that phone call. Ring it ding. Make it happen, Darby. Remember, you're in charge of special guests. I got fired last week or 2 weeks ago. Susan Harlan said,
easing to Hannibal. I might be more accepting there.
Susan Harlan said James Hampton, F Troop.
Wait a minute. What time is your Thursday thing? Because I don't want to be competing with you and Wayne and everybody next Thursday.
It's 7 to 9.
Oh, and I'm 7:30, so it would be. So I'll just tell people to tune into you instead of me doing some Thursday.
That would be excellent. I think you should, Darby.
Oh, listen, I want to be watching you guys. I think that's great. Now, I want to see if Israel can save this guy. Let's watch.
I know. So continuing on with our next segment of When a King is a Pawn. This segment, I'm going to combine the next two segments, so it'll be about 1945 long. So we'll see you guys in about 20 minutes.
He's gone. What have you done with him? Where is he?
I don't know.
Hold on now. Israel's gone, too. More than likely, they're together somewhere close by. Israel!
But if you're a king, what are you afraid of? Why don't you just order those men around and make them bow down to you?
Citizen Legault was among those who had my father and mother executed. He bows to no one. I'm his prisoner.
What about Mrs. Simon?
She, too. When we return to France, she will face trial for treason and die.
But if they want to kill you, why haven't they done it already?
Because then no one would believe me dead. It must happen in France so that those who want me on the throne will lose all hope.
Gosh, then you gotta get away.
Israel! Israel!
Pa's looking for me. Now look, I know I promised, but I'm gonna tell Pa anyway.
No, you must not. They'll kill him.
They won't know I've told him. I've got you. He can save you.
But then if you both die, I'll be to blame.
And if you die, I'll be to blame. I'm gonna tell. I'm over here, Pa! Pa!
Tell him what? What has Charles been saying to you? Answer me.
Take your hands off of my boy. Anything wrong, Israel?
No, Pa. We was both awake, so we came down to the stream where we could watch the animals come to drink.
And what else?
Mr. Legault, I think the time has come for you to make a clean breast of things. Otherwise, we part company. Except for worrying us a little, I can't see that the boys have done anything wrong.
You are speaking about matters of which you know nothing.
That's right. And I want to know. Otherwise, Israel and I'll go our way, and you can find your own way to the Tennessee River. I don't think it'll take you more than a week extra.
Monsieur Boone, you are puzzled, suspicious. So be it. Possibly my manner is at fault, but I assure you that I'm acting in the interests of liberty and equality, values for which I would gladly give my life. I simply ask you to lead us to the Tennessee River as soon as possible and ask no more questions. My cause is just.
Those are mighty pretty words, but they don't tell me anything.
It's the best I can do.
That's your privilege, but I'm not buying a pig in a poke. Israel and I'll be leaving on foot. We won't bother you anymore. Come on, Israel.
But, Pa, we can't leave them.
Why? That's what we planned to do in the first place.
Well, I'm not worried about us. I'm worried about Charles and his mother.
Worried about them? Why? They have plenty of protection. Or do they?
All I mean is, since Charles and I have just made friends, and him and his mother live in Vincennes, I might want to visit him sometime.
Maybe I had forgotten about that. You want me to come along, Charles?
Well, Boone?
It'll be morning soon. I reckon by the time we have breakfast, it'll be light enough to hitch the horses and leave. Let's go stir up the fire, Israel. You coming, Charles?
Stay with them. Don't leave Boone and his son alone.
How much do you think Boone's son knows?
From what I overheard, he knows everything and intends telling his father.
Well, that leaves us no choice then. They'll have to be eliminated at once.
Not yet. We need Boone. There were others besides ourselves expecting Charles in New Orleans. They may be after us already. We can't afford any delay in reaching the Tennessee River.
But if Boone learns the truth, we'd be forced to kill him anyway.
Yes, of course. That's why he must not know.
Israel won't talk in front of witnesses. From now on, they must not be alone.
All right, there you go, up on the seat.
Monsieur Boone?
Yes, what is it?
For the third time, I must apologize for my rudeness. If Israel would prefer to ride in the coach with Charles, he may.
Why the sudden change?
It is simply that boys have become friends, so they might as well be together.
Thank you, but I think I'd rather have Israel up there with me.
He has to, or they'll kill him.
S'il vous plaît, Monsieur Boone. Charles is so lonely.
Israel, isn't there something you want to tell me so I'll know what's going on?
No, Pa. And I think I better get in the coach with Charles. He needs me.
Only if Mr. Legault will ride up here with me, I get lonesome too.
An excellent suggestion and a welcome chance, monsieur. Merci. Oh, we should have thought of this sooner, monsieur. It's being confined in the carriage that made me so irritable.
Get up.
Cold. They may only have stopped to cook.
By the way the grass is mashed down, I'd say they slept here.
And it's not noon yet. If they didn't leave until daybreak, we have cut their lead in half.
How much farther to the river?
Oh, not far as the crow flies. See those hills ahead? Several ways to get through. I don't know the best one yet since the rains.
And beyond the hills?
An easy grade to where the trace ends on the Tennessee River. There's a little settlement there.
Any particular landmarks to lead one to it?
I reckon I'll be able to find it all right. Or were you thinking of dispensing with my services before we get there?
You almost left us of your own accord, monsieur. I simply tried to be prepared if I had to become my own guide.
Charles, does Israel know who you are?
Yes. I'm sorry, Israel. I never should have told you.
I ask you to.
Israel, did you tell your father?
No, I haven't had a chance.
You will never have a chance. Once we reach the river, your father's work is finished. He doesn't know it yet, but he's driving you both to a rendezvous with death.
They are not leaving any tracks at this kind of ground, at least none that I can follow.
Yes, but they had to cross it. They must be heading into the hills to the north.
Yes, but where? If we lose them now, they'll beat us to the river. And after that, we'll never catch them. We will get across a stretch to where the ground leaves tracks again and then spread out. The man that picks up their trail can signal the others.
They might be miles apart.
Then we'll use smoke.
Well? Don't know which one of the passes would be easiest.
Then we'll just have to move on and find out.
I was thinking maybe we could save a little time if Ormond and Perrault did that for us. One could check the route dead ahead, the other could check the valley to northeast. They can move twice as fast as a coach can. We can just sit here and wait for them.
I don't think I like that plan, Monsieur Boone.
Why not? You're the ones in the hurry.
True. But it would leave just you and me here, with the children and a woman.
Only for an hour or two.
Sufficient time to get killed by an Indian attack. Besides, I'm not certain that either Ormond or Perrault would be able to tell which way was best. So we stay together. Choose whichever route you wish.
Dead ahead. Yeah.
It didn't work.
What do you mean?
Didn't you hear? Pa's trying to separate them. If he could only get that Legault alone for a while, then I'd tell Pa everything, and he could save us all.
Well, then at least he knows that something is wrong.
Well, he knows something's wrong, all right. He just doesn't know what or how wrong things are.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now what? I didn't hear anything.
Pretty far away. Sounded like two shots from the same gun.
Anything significant about that?
Only that it had to come from a pistol. Indians and hunters don't use them. Ha! Beginning to think the worst part was over. I don't see any way around it. Then what do we do? Well, we'll dig and chop our way through. Let's see what kind of tools we have. We got a shovel. An axe. Well, that'll keep 3 men busy. And if you can bear to tear yourself away from guarding this coach, Legault, and do a little work yourself, you'll be able to cut a path through by dark and maybe move on in the morning.
All right, let's get to work.
Pa! Look!
A signal fire.
Savages?
Ordinarily, I'd think so, except for those 2 pistol shots. One thing's certain, though, it comes from a spot on our trail. Israel and I can backtrack and find out.
No. If someone is after us, the most important thing is to get the coach through that wash.
You've been acting all along as if you thought maybe somebody was after us. Who and why?
An unwarranted assumption, monsieur. Now let's get to work.
All right. Take this and I'll show you what to do. Come on, Israel, you can help too.
I don't think so, Monsieur Boone.
Where my boy's concerned, I do my own thinking.
They are safer in the carriage in case of an attack. I absolutely forbid Charles leaving it.
I always feel safer if I've got room to move around. Come on, boy.
You make things increasingly difficult, Monsieur Boone.
You ever try an explanation?
That's all right, Pa. I want to stay with Charles. Please don't argue with him, Pa.
That's right, Monsieur Boone. Don't argue. I'll explain this much. If we are being followed, the men on our trail will be merciless to you as well as to me. So all that matters is that we get the coach in the clear, and as quickly as possible.
Come on, let's get it.
I thought it was all over right then.
I too.
Next time it might be. Because if I know my pa, he's going to come after me next chance he gets.
That can be fatal to both of you.
And all because of me. If I could just die or vanish. With me gone, Legault would have no reason to kill anyone.
Maybe you can vanish.
How?
Well, Pa won't try anything until dark. And if Charles and me could... change...
Use your bar and shovel to cave this bank back to make a ramp for the carriage. He and I'll go to work on those dead logs. Come on, Legault.
Keep an eye on that carriage, and keep your guns ready.
Boone is too suspicious. He can't be trusted anymore.
Only long enough to get the carriage through this ravine. From what he's told me, the rest of the way is easy. So we'll go on without him.
You coming, Legault?
Yes, monsieur. Get to work. Just might be Philippe Camille on our trail.
They are somewhere in that valley ahead. No way to get out of it until they're through the hills.
And all we have to do is follow the valley. And we can do that in the dark.
Yes, and will.
Getting too dark to see. Anything's left to do, we can do in the morning.
I'll feel much safer if we get through here tonight.
All right, we'll give it a try. This shoulder's pretty loose. Stay close to the coach in case it tilts.
We'll stay very close.
They're coming. Pa'll do something. You watch. Get ready to jump.
Stay on this side.
Yes, Mr. Boone. As soon as we're through the wash, dispose of him. We are going on tonight.
Boone, to the left.
Harold, get on the other side.
To the left.
We're almost down. Whoa. Israel, come on.
He's getting away.
All right, Israel, we're alone now. What's wrong?
I'm not Israel. I'm Shaw.
Go back down the valley and watch for them. When you finish with them, follow me. I'm going ahead.
Let them go. You still have us.
I won't have you long if Boone lives to tell his story. But if I can't get you to France, we'll end everything here.
That Israel, he's a clever boy.
Madison's come to tell me that this is his dinner time. And he wants to know what's up.
You had 20 minutes to feed him. What are you waiting for?
I was into the show. I told you I haven't seen this since it aired. It's a good show.
That was so cute when Israel makes his little plan and he puts his arm on her. He's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Because I'm sure they didn't coach you to do that. That must have just been your natural instinct to, okay, here's what we're going to do.
I do remember filming different scenes of this. Like down by the river, he said some line and I knew what the next line was. It's pretty good.
Did you have flashbacks of the Bill Tillman and the Outlaws stagecoach incident? Because you actually rode in the stagecoach out there, right? Did they film any?
Yeah, it almost ended up.
No, I mean, in this, was the stagecoach stuff only on set, or were you actually in the stagecoach as well outside? Because that scene was obviously outdoors somewhere. I don't know where you shot it. Probably you said what, the ranch?
The BOONE one.
I'm talking about what the scene we just saw, where they cleared the thing and.
Oh yeah, no, that was at the ranch. So fun. I look at those shots and it's like where I grew up on that ranch. That was my hangout. I loved every inch of it. That was there. Most of the other things, I know when they pulled out in one of the scenes with the wagon, I could tell it was definitely on the set with the painted backdrop and everything behind it. But the rest of it, yes, was out in Malibu.
How was riding in a stagecoach? Is it very rickety?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not a Cadillac, that's for sure. But between that and like when I did the Donner Party, Dead of Winter, you just think of these pioneers coming across in a wagon and just what they had to go through. Like you were sitting there stopping, we got to make the road, so it can pass. And then, we did the salt flats, which is what killed off most of their animals before they even got caught in the 3 different blizzards up there. So my hat's off to the pioneering spirit and what it took.
Okay, Stacy Schaefer had some good news. The boy from Rin Tin Tin was Lee Aker.
Right.
And then she said Paul Peterson updated his post saying they found a place in Phoenix to bury Lee and a funeral home to take care of it for them. So that's good news. Yay!
That's good.
And Brenda Mudrack, what happened? You're shrinking away, Darby. You're just a little head now.
Well, I didn't want to take over the whole thing and but I was just thinking, Paul's got to stick around in case I pass, so they make sure they know what to do with me. See, if I go like that, then I kind of fit between the two heads.
Did you not buy you a new chair when you bought you a new desk?
There, I do. I have a new chair. There we go. We're getting ready for
my gosh, look how teeny weeny you are.
And that's Morgan too. This is on Catalina. This is for Heroes Island.
He always looks so serious, like he's like a poster boy, like he's putting on a pose, where you look like you're just out playing in your backyard, having a grand old time.
Some things just don't change. What can I say?
That's true. You do that at the conventions too. You look like you're just out having a grand old time.
It's just here I get very serious and down to work.
Yeah, sure. You're not good at that, Darby. You got high marks for your laughs on the Hannibal episode. Okay, so I think Brenda, you already answered this. Brenda Mudrack had asked where was the outside shots done, so you had answered that.
Dark and bloody grounds of Malibu, which is now Malibu State Park.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, no. When Murdoch bought 20th Century Fox, one of the things he did to get a big tax break was to sell off 20th back lot, which was in Malibu, and give it to the state as a park. But that's
so how many acres is that? They're like
I don't
hundreds of acres, or is it?
I don't even know, but that's where we would, we'd have lunch, and Nancy and Ron Reagan would come over on horseback because their ranch kind of backed up to a little bit. So they come over because he and Gus were good friends and, actors in the business growing up and stuff. So it was a magical place to grow up. I had a lot of fun. As I told the story about, I used to be able to take my mini bike out there, and at lunch, whenever a kid was working outdoors on location, we always had to get an hour and a half for lunch, because otherwise we'd only get an hour. So in that hour and a half, man, I would just wolf down the food, and I'd get on my mini bike and just take off through the hills, and I had a blast. All the way up until I ran into the Planet of the Apes set with my godfather caught in a net. But that's a story for another time.
Oh no! Here you go. I can see you come flying over the hill. Whee!
Well, it was almost that bad. I got up, I came around the ridge, and they had built this whole new little town that was very bizarre. And I could see from the back of it, the facade, that was holding it up. But it was, it wasn't like regular buildings or anything. And this is my ranch, and I didn't know what was going on. So I went zipping down the hill, and I went skidding around the corner to kind of see what was, and all of a sudden, there was the camera crew, and there was everybody, and there was Charlton Heston in a net with a bunch of monkeys. And I was like, oh, and I turned, and I gassed it out of there. And I'm like, well, maybe they didn't notice, and I'm hearing, cut, cut, cut. And I'm like, oh, God. And I went all the way back to my trailer, and I kind of hid the bike. Maybe they didn't know who that kid in the coonskin cap was.
Yeah, right. Because there's so many of those driving their mini bikes around the hills of Malibu.
on the private 20th Century Ranch now.
So did you catch it? Did you catch it from your Uncle Chuck?
that was the last time I was allowed to have the mini bike on the Fox Ranch.
Who delivered the bad news? Your mother or the director, or who?
Oh, who I heard it from? I heard it from my mom. Yeah, no, it didn't just come from the director. That came from the studio. Yeah.
All right, we got a question from one of our Facebook people. Terry Ostro Dominic said, where on location did you do most of the shows, and how many were on the set? Oh, that's a hard question. We've kind of answered it over
We've kind of gone through that one, yeah.
It was a mix. To answer you, Terry, it was sort of a mix.
We did the pilot. We did another one in Kanab. That's why one of the reasons we're going back there is because we did do, for Peachtree, we were out in Kanab and stuff. So we did a couple of times, and one of the Boone shows went to Florida and filmed. Israel didn't go on for that trip, but just like the real Daniel Boone, he went down to Florida, and they gave him the real Daniel Boone. They gave him a bunch of land, and he came back and told Becky, and Becky was like, wait a minute, you just moved me here to Kentucky. Now you want me to move to Florida with what I heard is the swamps and the alligators? No, thank you. So the Boone family never did move down there.
So that was truth. That was real history then.
That was real history. Not saying anything bad about your state. I love Florida there, Ginger, but
well, you didn't say anything that wasn't true. We do have swamps and alligators.
Yeah.
And
Becky was having no part of that. That's for sure.
I don't know, Kentucky, Florida. Yeah, probably big difference. Especially back then, Florida wasn't really developed. It pretty much was all swamp. Disney World wasn't here yet, believe it or not.
The Americana on Biscayne Bay wasn't even there.
No, I don't think Key West was really there either.
I really grew up. I spent a lot of time in Miami and stuff growing up.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, we always had our place in Jamaica. That was our getaway, and so we always went through. But my mom helped start the Jockey Club and the Palm Bay Club, and Walter Troutman, who started the Jockey Club, 11151 Biscayne Boulevard. He was like almost a second dad. We water skied together, and no, I loved Florida.
I still think you need to write your mom's story. Get all those pictures, write your mom's story.
Yeah,
that'd be a good book.
I know.
Get on it, Darby. Come on, you don't have enough on your plate.
I don't know if people believe it. I know I'm still clearing out doors and anyway. Still finding new pictures.
All right, so Brenda Mudrack says, at least you didn't get another wild ride like Richard Dreyfuss gave you. LOL. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Yeah, no, any of the wagon here, I think has all been pulled by a truck. You know, I saw that's, you know, doing like this and stuff. I'm pretty sure that was being pulled by a truck. And, you know, the interior scenes, of course, were just guys on either end of the thing rocking it to make it look like it was going anywhere.
Well, it always looks like there's tons of space in there. And then you see a movie like Stagecoach and they're like all cramped in there.
You know, like James West, you know, since we talked about Wild Wild West, you know, his train was like huge with all the gas.
But I bet that car was like super tiny. The billiard, the pool table took up half the car.
You gotta love it.
All right, another Facebook question from a Randall Nolan.
Now, I thought Facebook couldn't ask questions.
Well, Stacy's copying them and pasting them for us, which is very nice. Thank you, Stacy.
Darling,
so
I love
telling you got the best fans in the world, darling.
And I want to know if this is a better format or if we should just go back to the Zoom instead of.
We're still doing Zoom. We're still doing both. Okay. We're doing both.
Don't let us know. Okay.
Don't complicate it, Darby. We're adding Facebook, but we're not eliminating Zoom. Just saying.
All right. These serious kids here.
Well, anyways, let me ask Randall Nolan's question. I was such a big fan of this show, I would never miss it. Thank you for showing these. Oh, see, we got a compliment. Yay, thank you, Randall. And, oh, Pamela Riley Pavkovich wants to know, is that Mattis, Darby?
Yeah. That's General Mad Dog Mattis. That's who that was.
Oh, your little puppy dog who wants dinner. Saying, shut up and feed me. A walk.
And his afternoon walk. I mean, come on. He's got a neighborhood he has to patrol.
Steve Thompson from Facebook. With all the animals in the different shows, did you get to interact very much with the different animals? That's a question.
Absolutely.
Go back and watch some of our previous shows to see a more detailed answer.
Right. I had more animals at home than I did on the show, so that was no problem.
I think it depends on which show. There's some shows you have a menagerie, it seems like.
Yeah, but I always had a menagerie at home.
That's true.
You know, and that's, I don't even want to go into, I saw a show that really affected me, the Netflix Seaspiracy on there, and about fish and stuff. And we talked about the animals. When I was laid up after my motorcycle accident, you know, I had like 5 saltwater tanks and all. And I've always felt for fish. And it's funny because I thought as I posted in this, I think some of them might have gone back to the scene that we filmed where we were in a net on the beach. But I don't know. Between that and Mr. Limpet, I loved Mr. Limpet. I thought that was a great show. And then Sword in the Stone where he turns into a fish. But now that I've watched Seaspiracy, it's like I won't buy fish ever again. So. Oh,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's good, and it's not. I know we don't talk political here. It's not politics. It's the earth. It's the ocean. And anybody that knows me knows I love the ocean. I studied with Cousteau, Jean-Michel Bassan, and you know I knew a lot of this stuff, and I kind of forgot about it. And it's so out of sight, out of mind because it all happens in the ocean, under the sea, so we don't see it. You know, when you saw the pictures of strip mining, and you saw the pictures of clear-cut forestry and logging and the damage it was doing, people spoke up and they stopped it and they changed it and they found other ways. What they're doing to the oceans these days is just amazing. And since nobody sees it and talks about it, they just continue to do it. And
I don't know. I saw the Meg and they went too deep and a shark bigger than the Jaws shark ate everybody. So don't dig too deep. Just saying, we don't know what lurks down there. So don't be, and piranha, that one, don't mess with those prehistoric critters.
I'm talking about big nets dragging all this stuff across the ocean floor and just totally, and you're talking about Meg. Okay.
Just saying, you don't know what lurks down under there, because when the world was destroyed, apparently the oceans were still here. So who knows? Bum, bum, bum. Just saying.
Well, it'll all still be here. I mean, like I said, I've been an environmentalist my whole life. And when I say we're destroying the planet, we're not going to destroy life on this planet, because this planet loves life. No matter where we go, in the darkest caves and the deep and all, life just keeps happening. We will easily make it so humans can't survive on the planet, unfortunately. But I don't think, like they said, even if we set off all nuclear bombs, there'd be little cockroaches running around and stuff. So
eating Twinkies.
Anyway, on that cheerful note,
I know. So are you licensed to scuba dive? So are you a licensed scuba diver? Is that what you mean by you do when's the last time you went scuba diving, or do you?
Have you not seen pictures? I grew up in an indoor swimming pool. They had a little 15-gallon tank on my back before I could even. Yes, I am deep sea certified. The whole works.
When's the last time you went scuba diving? Has it been recently, or has it been a while?
Well, maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't do anything during the lockdown, although it would probably be good. Well, you'd be wondering whose air you're sucking on.
Okay.
But
you must have your own tank. You don't have your own tank?
And not to get back on the oceans, but that's the sad thing. In Jamaica, when I would go diving there, and you would have sea fans just huge, and all the animals. And then you go diving there now and see what these reefs look like. And I'm tired of them saying, it's climate change is doing it. No, they figured it out because of what happened at Yellowstone, when the environment there and the fields and the rivers started just acting crazy and very bad. And then all of a sudden they let the wolves back in, and everything came back because they let in the top predators. Because otherwise the grazing animals were overgrazing everything and killing stuff off. When the predators came on, they had to move fast, and they upped in the herd. Well, you take out all the big fish and all the game fish and then the sharks and all that, and all you left is little grazers. And they just go over these reefs and, eat everything before they can reproduce. The report that came out that the Great Barrier Reef isn't going to be there in just a number of years. It's a sad thing.
Well, we don't want to talk about sad things.
Well, sorry about that, guys.
We digress. We aren't going to talk about that. Well, here's a happy note. Stacy Schaefer boasts that Greg Smith from Facebook, I remember seeing Darby at a Western show at Six Gun Territory in Ocala, Florida when I was young. He was the first celebrity that I ever saw in person.
Six Gun Territory. I loved it. I'm a 45s. I got to be in the gunfights. That was fun stuff back then. Those were the good times.
Definitely. I don't think it's there anymore. I don't know. That's where we showed Scream Test, was in Ocala, Florida. Yay. And Ellen DiOrio, welcome. She said, so glad to be joining you.
At Silver Springs, I believe at one time they had a boat named after me there.
Seriously?
If you see on my Facebook, the Christmas card that says Merry Christmas and we're all underwater, that was Silver Springs. Where else would be that clear?
Well, what do you know about that? All right. Well, that's a much happier note to finish on. So
there we go.
No more stories, Darby. Until we
I
come
really
back.
Get preachy. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
We're glad to hear you're passionate about things. There's nothing.
I love the planet. I love the ocean. It's an amazing, amazing place, and it's sad what we're doing. Anyway, let's see what happens in the next.
We will. This is our final segment. One last thing. Mary Kemper on Facebook. Hey, Mary. She's my friend from Tampa, a Bonanza friend. Where is Darby's hat? Seriously, Darby, where is your coonskin hat?
I'm sorry. You're right. Well, I didn't have a coonskin. I fell out of place with a tricorn. Morgan,
yeah, I should find out what size your head is so I can order you one.
We're going to have to get Tom Quint on there. He's the only one I'll let make me hats now. So Tom, if you got a good hat, Alma wears a hat, tricorn that would actually fit this head. He had to make a special mold to fit this, fit all this.
Is your head really that big? How big's your head? I mean, not ego, ego.
No, he saw like those shots where all the hats were fitting too small. He goes, I'd love to make you a hat. I'm a hat maker. I said, great. He said, measure your head and let me know. I measured it. I sent him the measurements. He came back. Measure again. So I got Sean out. I said, Sean, take the tape, measure it. He goes, okay. He had to go buy a special mold for my head. But that's why I love his hats so much, because they fit like a glove. Great hats.
You're going to have to share your head size. We'll make sure it's expandable, so you'll be all set.
My head's expandable?
For your ego, so when your ego gets bigger and smaller, it'll still fit. Just saying. Anyway, so this last segment is 11 minutes and 14 seconds. It's shorter than the others. And then we will be back for our final wrap up on When a King is a Pawn. Bum, bum, bum. We'll see what happens. So we'll see you in about 11 minutes.
That explains everything except why you and Israel swapped clothes.
Because the only reason Legault would kill you in Israel is to keep from losing me. But if I'm already lost, he'd have no reason to kill.
I wish I had your confidence.
Into the trees!
Halt where you are! You may.
Stay here.
Oh.
Wait! Wait, I tell you! I'm not a man you're after.
Then who are you?
Daniel Boone. It's more important for me to know who you are.
Get me.
Mind my asking just where you fit into this?
And it was to me that Louis Charles Capet was to have been delivered when he reached America, to live in peace under another name, until he could be restored to the throne.
Just so he had a chance to live in peace. Charles, come here.
Charles? It is! Oh, Monsieur Boone, how can we ever repay you?
You can't. If any harm comes to my boy Israel. Right now, you can let me have this man's horse to go after Legault.
Oui.
We have to help him.
You are all that matters to me. I'm taking you to safety.
No. Both Israel and Madame Simon risked their lives to save mine. We can't desert them.
They are commoners and of no consequence. But you are a king. You remain hidden in a place of safety until the day comes when we can restore you to the throne.
And if that day ever comes, I'll remember the man that refused to help my friends.
Very well. It might be best to see that Legault is dead.
Did you get Boone in Israel? No, we ran into Philippe Gamet and his men. I think we got 2 of them, but they got Perot. Gamet? That might be him.
Whoever it is, stop him. Ho, ho!
Israel.
Yes, Henri. Monsieur Boone is Charles, and you will never see him again. Your mission is failed, and you dare not return to France yourself. So let us go. You escape while you can.
Let go! I'm asking just one thing. Let Israel and Mrs. Simone go unhurt, and as far as I'm concerned, you can drive out of here alive.
Listen carefully, Boone. If you ever want to see your son alive again, you'll hand over Louis Charles.
I don't have Charles. He's with Philippe Gamet. So any further killing is senseless. Let your prisoners go.
No!
Go to Madame Simone.
You won, Gamet. You have a pistol in your hand. Please use it and be accurate.
Like I said a minute ago, there's no reason for any more killing.
But even more reason for dying.
Thank you for making that necessary, Lago. And now, Charles is mine. To keep in use for my own return to the power and...
I suppose you'll be wanting to go back to New Orleans.
No. I want to forget the past. So if you will take me on north to a French settlement, I will find a home there. And perhaps some lonely hunter will want a wife who knows how to work.
But what will happen to me?
Well, you have no choice, Charles. In France, the people think that you are dead. And in America only, we four know who you are. I will never tell. I have no use for kings. And if you, or Monsieur Boone, or Israel, told anyone you were the Dauphin of France, you would be laughed at. So, whether you like it or not, you will have to stay with me. And grow up like any other boy out here on the frontier. What are you grinning about?
I think maybe he'd like that for a change.
Charles? Charles Simon?
Well, let's get rolling.
Yes?
want the cap, there's the cap. Give them what
There you go, Mary. Now you have to donate $500 to Darby's for the ocean, Save the Ocean Fund. No.
That was a good show. I liked it.
That was cute. Sorry, it was out of sync there at the end. But so one announcement I was going to make for anybody who is going to Kanab, and when we do our Daniel Boone / Darby Hinton recognize, we're make sure you have a blue shirt and brown pants and a coonskin hat so we can all look the part. Nobody will question who we're rooting for.
Am I going to have to go try to find pants with fringe on it?
That would be awesome. You should totally do that. You probably could charge extra for your photos if you posted. Who knows? We shall see.
I bet there's somebody out there that could make them too, because I haven't really seen them in the store anywhere.
There is definitely patterns out there. I have looked them up. I looked to try to make a coonskin hat for Hannibal before we did that. It's like a doll size, but I had enough on my plate. So if anybody knows how to make the buckskin pants for him, it's info@darbyhinton.com. I think it went out of sync because of all your talk about the Philippines movies. I thought we'd make it look like a Japanese movie.
You know, I did dubbing for those too. Some of the martial arts films that come in, dub them in English.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, it was the worst possible segment, I think, to be out of sync, because it was like a telegraph that it was going to, you hear the shot, then he gets shot. Then you hear the shot, then he gets shot.
I will say one thing. Fess sat a really nice horse. I mean, I thought he rode that like a true Texan.
Yeah, you got the short end of the stick at the end there, though, when you all climbed into the front of the stage. You kind of got the worst seat out of the bunch. I saw you trying to grab onto something.
What's that about? I'll be in the cabin, Dad. Pa, see you later.
I know. It's like, hey, y'all took my seat.
And I think the way I grabbed on and stuff, we might have done it once before with it really lurching out of there, and I probably almost went over. So I'm like, okay, here we go.
They cut it right before we got to see that. It didn't make it to the blooper reel.
I wish we had some of the blooper reels from this. That would be a lot of fun.
You think they even exist? Or you think that's one of the things that ended up?
I don't
never
think
know.
if Fess hadn't saved them and put them all on DVD, we probably wouldn't have any of them. I'm just now starting to, I just finally got a machine to do some of the old VHS tapes to CDs, even though DVDs, even though that's old technology now, but at least it's a more permanent thing that I'm trying to transfer some of it over. And then all my CD collection, I guess you just throw it away these days, right? Because nobody wants CDs. They just download the music.
I think you can make coasters out of them, you know.
I was going to do one of the walls. I said, okay, I have enough. I'll plaster a wall with them. But I'm like, you know what? With all the posters and pictures, it's busy enough. I guess because I didn't really have anything to do with the CDs except for I collected them. At least the posters, I'm in them. Or it's a movie that I did.
Oh, speaking of posters, I did a viewing night with some friends for, I think it's Hard Ticket to Hawaii, which is the sequel to your Malibu Express. And they do actually mention your character, and they have the poster on the wall of you. And they chat about it for about 5 minutes, but you are in it for just a moment and then it's gone.
That's because contractually I was supposed to be in the next 4 of them. Yes, I know. Right?
Oh, were you really? That was the question. Did you choose not to be in them because you read the scripts and went, yeah, I think I'm good? Or was it?
Oh, God.
You have to love 80s movies. They were always fun.
Yes, the Andy Sedaris. Yeah, that was the problem. I mean, when we shot him, there was like the one version we shot. And then you'd be like, okay, this is the European version. And the women would take the tops off and stuff. Well,
for no apparent reason, just to stand around with their tops off and talk to their friends and talk on the phone and look at the diamonds and whatever, you know.
It's the director, and argue with the director. So it's like, okay. And I remember when I went to the premiere of it, And it was at the Directors Guild, so it was a big deal in the studio. I'm like, oh, and we come in and I'm walking down the aisle like, hey, we'll do lunch, feeling great. And then they aired it, and I didn't know that there was no American version. It was all the European version. And yes, I was a little bit more embarrassed than I crawled out of there before the credits were done. And
well, I hope you didn't take your mom as your special, as your plus one.
No, but I did take like friends, and I literally like snuck out of there before the lights came on and jumped into the limo. And I'm like, open that champagne. And then, would you like to wait for your guests? Open the champagne now. And I remember sitting in front of that theater, chugging on that bottle, just watching people come out of the movie. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So anyway, he calls me up for the sequel. Darb, it's great. Come on. I'm like, oh, Andy, I don't think I can do it. It's just, oh no, I cleaned it up. You'll love it. You'll love it. It's a great script. And he sent me the script, and I read it, and the first page was like, oh, Cody Abley. Oh, Cody, you know Cody? Oh, I know Cody. He's sad, he's only 3 inches. Only 3 inches from the ground up. And I closed the script. I'm like, no, Andy, I'm sorry. I can't just. And my son Ryder will not forgive me because he loves The Hard Ticket to Hawaii and Picasso's Trigger and all the other ones that came after. He thought they were so campy and great.
They really did 4 more? 4 more?
So Malibu Express went so well that he got a 3 or 4, maybe it was only 3. I don't know. Picture deal. But the thing was that Cody, me, was supposed to be in them. And then when I wouldn't do them, that's what he did. He put a poster on the wall so he could say that I was in the movie.
So is that true? Is that true in the other 2, or you only had the contract for the second one?
I will admit here, I have never seen the other ones because part of me was sad that I didn't do them, because they were a lot of fun to do. I got to tell you that. And to go over Hawaii and all that. But, I was thinking of my career and exactly what it meant and stuff. So it was just one of those decisions. Jamie Lee Curtis did really good with, being the screen queen and stuff. So.
Sorry, how'd we jump to that?
I don't know how.
Cody Abilene. I'm not sure. Halloween, Malibu Express. I'm not sure.
You don't see the same horror, screaming, yelling as that? I mean, come on.
Oh my goodness, you're hilarious. Okay.
You gotta love this business. You just got it.
All right, couple last questions and I will let you go, Darby. So Susan Harlan says, was that Ted White filling in for Fess in the fight scene? Yeah. He always did.
It's fun now. I get to look and see, when is it Ted? When is it Fess? Look, Fess did a lot of his own stuff, but you just can't have the star of the film go down. And I like at the end that Fess, Paul whooped him even with one hand. It was great. But, that's the thing. If something goes wrong, and then the whole production shuts down. So that's why the stuntman, and, I had a stuntman tell me once, because I love doing my own stunts and try to do as much. But he's like, put me out of a job here. That's my job. So you do what you do. And now, of course, so much of it is green screen that you don't really have the stunts and the danger that comes with a lot of it.
Definitely not the stunts. I mean, they still have the fight scenes, but you're right. As far as the stunts, it's a completely different game now. Brenda Mudrak says, where can I get a coonskin cap and a tri-corner hat? Well, Amazon.com. As long as you know your head size on the tri-corner hats, apparently.
I gotta give the shout out to Tom here, see if he'll make me a tri-corner. But do I go
track old Tom Quinton? We got to get you one for Kanab. So.
Do I go for a fancy one like this one, or for the a plain one like Israel had?
Well, it seemed like everybody had a different kind of tri-corner hat, which is funny. Is like, was that their statement that they were making? Did it mean different status levels based on the quality of the? Because you had your little simple brown one versus this fluffed up fancy schmancy one on the King. So.
But you have to remember, I fought for so long to get out of the tricorn and into a coonskin. You know, I wanted to be like Paul. That's why I never went back.
Maybe that'll be our trivia question next week. What episode? Oh, if I blow it now, I guess it won't be. Everybody will do their
We didn't do a
homework.
trivia question, did we?
Well, you said you didn't want to be giving away pictures anymore, so.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't.
You told me I was supposed to stop you if you start giving away pictures.
It's like when I say that I'll get Lana to sign it, and then I got to run and track her down, and then go to the post office now because it's pictures and stuff. It's not. I don't mind just the pictures.
Well, do you have an 8x10 of the one of your ones with from this episode?
From Morgan here, like this one, and I will go to Thailand, Bangkok to get Morgan to sign this for you.
Somebody said he was married to Belinda Carlisle. Wasn't she the lead singer on the Go-Go's?
The Go-Go's, absolutely.
And a solo artist. I have her solo album too. I love her.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, you totally need to get on the horn and get him to do something.
Well, I know. I guess I got to ask him about that too, because you know the only one worse that has a worse reputation than a child actor is a rock and roller, and especially a groundbreaking one like she was. You know, that was one of the first female bands. That's a great story there somewhere.
They're still awesome too. All right. Brenda Mudrack says, I still like my CDs, Darby, but I'm old fashioned. I need my CDs when I travel. Before you know it, all the cars aren't even going to have CD players in them though anymore.
I was going to say, yeah, the computers don't, you know, I have to keep one of the old ones just to get a DVD player out of it.
Can't tell you how many VCRs I used to have, and now I'm down to like 2, but.
You got the old Betamax there going?
No, I have an uncle who has one of those though. I have friends who have those, but I never taped anything on Betamax. I was just VHS. I made the transition.
Anyway, looking forward to it, my dear. Thank you for doing this again. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. Good to always to see you, Darby. Stay safe. And thank you everybody for attending and for being patient with us tonight. And for all of those who joined us on Facebook, I believe that stays live, that stays up there, but I'm still going to edit this one up and post it on YouTube. So if you don't want to deal with all the glitches, you can wait for that one.
For that reason alone is that we can edit it. I know. You never know what Ginger's going to say. And you know,
May, right. The Meg is taking over the ocean.
Bye,
anyway, have a good night, Darby. Everybody be kind, stay safe, and we will see you soon.